yeah, take it away. Recording now.
A last-second shakeup in this lightweight fight, and real quick, super disappointing stuff from Ottman and Zaitar. And I gotta say, props to Dana White for his decisiveness in cutting a Zaitar right away after essentially jeopardizing the safety of the bubble. Different circumstances, but it reminded me a bit of Dana cutting Paul Daly minutes after Daly punched Josh Koscheck after the fight had finished. And at that time, Paul Daly is one of the best welterweights in the world. So it shows you that Dana does not care how good you are. You could be 13-0 and have all the promise in the world, but if you do something totally beyond the pale, such as having somebody scaling balcony walls James Bond style to bring you something apparently so vital in a duffel bag, you're not going to have a place in this company. So Dana catches the dude on camera and cutting a once promising fighter after just a stupid choice. No way to sugarcoat it. But thankfully, Matt Frevola, who had plenty of bad luck in 2020 with canceled fights, was still able to get an opponent despite Ottman's mishap, as Arman Tsarukyan's fight against Nasrat Haqparast, shout out to our homie Nasrat, was also scrapped when Nasrat fell ill. So just like that, Arman Tsarukyan is now up against the steamroller Frevola. And Frevola is a gritty dog. He always brings the fight. He's a guy who will just never quit. But I'll tell you the most interesting thing about this fight, in my opinion, it's that Ahmed Azaitar is a heavy-handed, accurate sniper of a puncher. And while Arman Tsarukyan has an improving stand-up game, his come-forward pressure style is much different than Azaitar's. And when you look at the guys that Matt Frevola trains with every single day, the Merab Dvalishvilis, the Aljamain Sterlings, these are guys that are much closer fighter comps to Tsarukyan than they are Azaitar. So we'll talk about the odds and their movement here in a second, but do you at all think that this could be a blessing in disguise opponent switch for Frevola, given who he rolls with on the daily, or is the Armenian simply going to bulldoze the steamroller?
My name is Jeff. You brought up great points about Dvalishvili Chili. That is a meat lock cat regular here at Meat Boy MMA. And when you train with a killer like that, and also Aljamain Sterling, I mean, he's definitely prepared for the grappling aspect. And Matt Frevola is, he's no joke. I think he's gonna steamroll this dude. This is kind of a sleeper. I'm going with Matt. I feel like there's a lot of hype with Armin. I mean, the dude's coming in overweight. I think he's 24. He's very young, hungry, but I just don't think he's ready for the 30-year-old steamroller.
It's very interesting to see how the odds have moved in this one because originally Matt Frevola was an underdog against Ottman Zaitar, but Ottman Zaitar was coming in at around a minus 300, minus 350 favorite. And Arman Tsarukyan, this new opponent, is now a minus 725 favorite. So this is definitely one that if you're bullish on Arman Tsarukyan, I would stay away from. I mean, those numbers are just absolutely brutal for the Armenian, but the plus 550 for Steamroller Frevola, it is pretty enticing. Seems like a juicy meat value stake. And although I think Frevola is going to be able to keep this one close, and something within me thinks he's going to get this done, I got to go with Tsarukyan in this one. He is getting better every single fight. And I know there's a lot of hype behind this kid. And ultimately, if he's as good as potentially advertised, he's going to have to find a way to get through the steamroller Frevola type in the UFC. So I do think that the training with the Dvalishvilis, with the Aljamain Sterlings, is going to make this a close fight. I don't think the line should be as massive as it is. I do think that Tsarukyan is going to find a way to win 2 rounds and maybe even sneak a finish in this one. So if we look over at Tapology, 88% is going with Tsarukyan. A majority thinks by decision. You have the heavy dog Steamroller Frevola. How do you think he's going to get this done over this hype train?
Yeah, honestly, I could see it going the distance. And he just out kind of grits him. But
Mhm.
also, I wouldn't surprise me if he gets a steamroll, nice little KO. I would like that. Those odds are just too juicy, and I mean, people are clearly sleeping on Matt. But hey, the hype train, he could be the real deal. Only tomorrow will tell.
Yeah, we'll see. And this one should be super interesting, but we both seem to think that it's going to be a closer fight than what the odds makers indicate. So he's going with the Steamroller Frevola. I got Arman Tsarukyan. Check out the other vids, me boys.